Section 4. Training. When your project is complete, a new blueprint will become available. You can review it, name it, and then build it. You will be informed of which scientists have increased their skills on completion of the project. Pay attention to this list, as it is how you choose specialist teams later. The increases are based on the core skills needed to maximize the effectiveness of the research subject blueprint. This applies in full if the budget is sufficient to cover the highest skill set of your scientists. This can only be learnt through trial and error. The more projects you complete, the better your scientists get, and the technology they design for you will become more advanced. Section 4. Blueprints. Quality blueprints will get you awarded medals that all other players can see. In combat, technology can mean the difference between victory and defeat, regardless of numerical superiority. The best researchers are very protective over their blueprints, and for good reason. Given to the wrong person, they can be used against their creator. As a new player, you will be under suspicion, so it is best to begin your own research in order to come to grips with the processes involved, and so come to understand why they are paranoid about giving away their hard work. Credits have almost no value in trying to acquire the best technology. You may find people trying to sell their blueprints for trillions of credits. You should never share blueprints that you did not design yourself unless given explicit permission by the inventor. Section 5. Fleets. Section 5. Ship designs. No player is able at this point in game development to own more than 10,000 vessels. The prevention of a faction-wide dictatorship is a priority to prevent full-scale war. Obtaining blueprints for a ship requires blueprints for the different components of that ship. To subdue an enemy colony, you need fighters and bombers. These are similar to modern Earth observations. A fighter requires a fighter hull, small vessel drive, single-barrel guns, armor, and possibly shields. The combination of technology becomes a representative for your faction on the battlefield in obtaining the most important resource of all, citizens. I will design a transport ship because it only requires hull and engine blueprints. Click on Ship Designs and select the scroll that says Create New Ship Class From. Select a basic transport hull. This blueprint has all the information you need about the hull. The most important information in this case is its transport capacity of 15,000 units. The most powerful current drive type is a capital ship drive named Solar-Powered Iron Streamer. Add this to the design. All of the adjustments to the ship's performance are instantly calculated for each change to the design. At the bottom, name the class, then record the design. Section 5. Shipyard. How effectively the engineers can construct your machines is mostly down to military index. The procedure of ship production requires a unique set of robots dedicated to nanosheet metal and the containment of multiple fusion systems, backed by circuit boards to operate the advanced computer systems. Go to your colony overview, and in the shipyard, select a Shelter Galileo blueprint under Probes. Build using 10,000 engineers. You can run multiple construction projects at once and are only limited by how many engineers are available for employment. I will also construct 2 transports and a colonizer for demonstration purposes. By ordering ships, you temporarily take skilled engineers out of the economy. This reduces your income until the ships are constructed and the engineers return to their day jobs. Section 5. Buying and selling ships. Players can sell advanced ships on your planet to use for local missions such as probing, colonization, and transport. If there are none available, start talking to other players and state your intentions. Section 5. The individual purpose of each hull. There are 14 varieties, and each design has its own particular purpose. Some researchers cross elements of different hulls to create hybrid machines. Battleships hold a lot of armor and shields. They are intended to guard colonies from ground attack craft by directing attention towards themselves. Bombers are for attacking ground defenses when invading a colony. Their extra firepower is designated to destroy the shields of anti-aircraft emplacements. Carriers are for transporting your ships to other solar systems. This can be for invasions or to save uranium when refueling large fleets at space stations. Colonizers have a life-sustaining environment which enables you to transport citizens over long distances to establish new colonies. They have the ability to deploy as trade stations. Command frigates are fast and have multiple roles. They contain frequency jamming equipment, and as the flagship, they disguise your fleets against intelligence gathering. Corvettes are the focus of many battles as they are fast, armed, and armored. In small teams they stop enemy reconnaissance. In groups they are a force to be reckoned with. Destroyers have a lot of weapons while having the capacity to retain armor and speed. They excel at destroying battleships and ambushing enemy corvettes. Fighters are required to subdue citizens on colonies that you decide to conquer. Their weapons are designed to penetrate armored targets such as guided missile launcher bunkers. Genesis are massive cryogenic freezing facilities, enabling you to move huge amounts of population but at a slow pace. They lack the equipment to begin colonies. Probes are the fastest type of ship, requiring no crew and no weapons, just communication equipment and sensor arrays that scan worlds for resources. Use them while hunting enemy ships amongst solar systems, where surveyors cannot detect them. Space stations are deployed into a mercantile fortress that can be armed for defense. They have loading docks for trading resources and store multi-millions of units on board. Surveyors are elaborate probes that are deployed without the intention of moving. You can scan with all of your surveyors at once to get an overview summary of any activity detected. Transporters are a fast way to get resources to a new destination. They have the ability to deploy as trade stations. Troop transports contain Marines that board enemy ships through holes blown in the hull. Once they capture a vessel, you gain command of it. This allows you to inspect in more detail what technology you are combating. Section 5. Commissioning a fleet. To assign trained astronauts to crew a built ship in order to be sent into space, click the Commission Fleet button at your colony. There will be a list of constructed ships ready for service. Select the flagship of your new fleet, and then name it. All other players can see what you write, so be polite. Click the Start New Fleet button and its name will appear in your fleet menu under its classification. Don't worry about the other fleets there for now. To add more ships, you enter the number you wish into the list and click Add to Fleet. To send new orders for a mission into space, click Navigate Fleet. Section 5. Fleet Orders. Before you send the fleet on a mission, its flagship should be given orders about who to be friendly and aggressive towards. Open the Fleet Orders menu. While you are learning, set all the fleets you create, and that are capable of combat, to avoid combat. This is so your fleets don't attack your own faction members by accident. Considering your probes are not meant for combat and have no weapons, they should be set to kamikaze. If presented with targets, they need to get close for an accurate report. Select which player you want the probe to send reports about based on your treaty stance towards them. Click Set Orders to confirm your choice. Section 5. Navigation. All objects and warring factions exist in a three-dimensional universe. Every 4,000 kilometers a fleet moves changes its coordinates value by 1. The first number is left and right. The second is forwards and backwards. The last is up and down. Global coordinates represent movement throughout the universe. Local coordinates represent movement around the current solar system. This probe moves at 133.3 kilometers per second, so covering big distances such as 65 million kilometers, its maximum range, would take just short of an hour because the game runs 60 times faster than real time. For perspective, an average combat corvette moves at 16 km per second, much slower than the probe's 133. A probe's first mission should be to explore the closest solar system. Click on your fleet's global coordinates and this will bring up the star map. Zoom in and select a planet in that system that looks nice. Click on it and select Send Explorers. Exit the star map. The coordinates to that planet will be logged into the flagship's computer. Next, choose a mission objective. This is an exploration mission, so select Explore and launch the fleet. In the 3D map, you can observe the flight plan, and as the fleet progresses, the map will update your fleet's position while you are observing it. Open up the star log when your probe reaches the system. Select a planet to explore. Then it will carry out your orders to explore and scan the planet's surface for life. Take samples. Then send a report to the star log of any discoveries. View its position through the star log, or click on your fleet in the menu. Its position will represent which galaxy it is in, which arm of that galaxy, the solar system number of the arm, the system's locality on the arm, and the planet's position from its sun. This information is under the planet's number classification. Click on it. Intelligence from your probe's report is available after studying that planet, and now you can make an informed decision about the possibility of colonizing this new world. Section 5. Colonizing. To colonize a new planet, start by clicking Commission Fleet at your colony. Select a colonizer as the flagship. Name it and commission it. Add transports to the fleet so your new colony has resources to start building. In the navigation page, click the Load Cargo button. Select Load for each resource and select Full Load to fill up with colonists. Give the final order to proceed, then go back to the navigation page and select the global coordinates. Find the planet that your probe scanned earlier and click the planet. Click Send Fleet in the top left corner and close the page. Your colonization fleet will receive the coordinates through the navigation computer. Select their mission as Colonize and launch the fleet. When your fleet reaches its destination, the flagship will be lost and a new colony will start in your name. Buy storage space and then click on the fleet that came to start the colony. Go to the Load Cargo page and click Full Unload for every resource. Under the Management page, you can disband the fleet so its pilots join the colony too. Begin building an infrastructure similar to your homeworld, or whichever method you decide. Name your colonies. Other players can see what you call them, so be creative and original. Section 5. Fleet-to-fleet combat. When one of your fleets engages with another in violence out in the depths of space, a battle log will be created. All of the players in the game can view everyone's battle logs. The algorithm behind a battle is a topic of much debate and questions. Needless to say, it is very complex and takes into account all aspects of each design involved. Then it pits them against each other in a simulation. You will receive the report in your star log for contemplation and study. Try to analyze the scope of each design's success. Skirmishing on front lines is a good way for developing your strategies to better counter the enemy's designs. Section 6. Missions for new players. So you want to play warring factions. What can you do to help the war effort? There are roles that new players can choose to accomplish by themselves that will benefit the faction. They are in order of personal knowledge on game mechanics and required time online. Each new role is truly fulfilled by experiencing those prior. Pirate. Become a renegade pirate. Leave the homeworld with all of your population to start independently. There is nothing wrong with this. It is encouraged to learn the hard path by first-hand experience. If you show persistent aggression towards your faction, expect to receive a message about it. Warlord. Become a local warlord. Turn your colony into a developed military stronghold. Apart from building hospitals and entertainment facilities, your colony will run itself. Any land should be used for building guided missile launcher bunkers and anti-aircraft emplacements. Request the latest blueprints for ground defense from an Empire leader in your faction. Merchant. Become a prosperous merchant. Use a total industrial development index to harvest resources efficiently. Build as many mines and storage units as you can afford. Occasionally build more institutions to keep crime and sickness low. Sell your resources to trade stations in orbit above the homeworld. The valued resources are shipped out into the galaxy to defend your faction's borders. Researcher. Become a valued researcher. Focus on gaining the upper hand in the war. Employ as many scientists as you can get. Run many different projects simultaneously by using multiple research facilities. When a substantial improvement is achieved, send the selected blueprints to your faction leader or chief ship designer. Every blueprint is important for the standard faction ship designs. Governor. Become a talented governor. Maximize your urban index and begin new colonies around the galaxy. Time will be needed for you to observe the minuscule changes in your colony's development. Create experiments to maximize your growth potential. Your extra ship quota should be used to reinforce the battle group fleets of other faction members. War freighter. Become a respected war freighter. You are familiar with developing your own space stations. This is loading cargo from main storage to the trade holds. You are familiar with relaying warp-net coordinates to shortcut your fleets through space. Three-dimensional navigation is like reading a roadmap. Fleet makeup for different mission objectives is your forte. Resource ratios for ship requirements are practiced math. You are a logistical supplier for other players who are using their entire ship quota for combat. Admiral. Become a frontline admiral. Colony management is second nature. You can happily colonize any planet for a strategic advantage. You have devoted many hours to studying battle logs and are aware of how to alter ship designs for gaining a mathematical advantage in combat. You manage extensive sense nets to detect all traffic in your chosen zones, probing any intrusion rapidly with force. The majority of your logins are to read reports from your sensor nets and resolve fleet-to-fleet combat. You understand how to make the enemy react to your movement. Overlord. Become a powerful overlord. From when you conquer your first enemy colony, the path to strategic enlightenment begins. You grow your own people in plentiful abundance throughout multiple galaxies and transport resources to suspected war zones ahead of time. Your blueprints are some of the universe's best, an essential part of the faction war machine. Your military strongholds, deep in enemy territory, are a threat to be noticed. Your involvement in the forums is extensive and helpful to other players' research. Most importantly, you can have a laugh and help new players understand warring factions. Section 7. Scripts. Section 7. Bugs. As with any game, warring factions has its share of bugs. There are developers who adjust the code to accommodate new issues. A few code lines in the game are incomplete. For example, the benefits of being in a pirate empire. The more popularity the game gets, the more financial assistance will become available to finish the lines. All players are a part of the development process, and at the bottom of every page, a link exists to report any suspected bugs. Section 7. Grease Monkey. Players who know how to write code have made scripts that are additions to warring factions, and not in the main program. The scripts help to make the game more user-friendly. For example, to create and send multiple fleets at once, to have extra information displayed for research projects, and extra buttons to assist in exploring by auto-selecting new planets for your probes. Most player scripts are meant to run in a Firefox browser with Grease Monkey. Although not necessary, you should have some level of coding knowledge to get the most out of these scripts. This manual contains intellectual property of Thomas Org. The content is written and voice acted by myself, Shay Cunniff. I dedicate this manual to the players of warring factions, and in particular to Mike Eastham, Watchman of the Inal Orbital Empire. His technical expertise and experience on all concerns developed my knowledge on space warfare simulation.